All right. Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kahak, double honors to the apostles, the elders, great millstone. Sincere shalom to the hopeful elect. All right. I'll title this lesson, We Are Not in This Truth to Only Focus on Being Playboys. Okay. And a playboy, all right, is a man that, is only concerned with, accumulating as many women as he can. You know what I mean? Basically what you see here on the screen, the ladies' man. This is a movie, funny movie, right? But I'm just using this as an example, you don't want to be in this truth only focused on being a ladies' man. Okay. Sometimes, brothers got to calm the fuck down, man, with these women. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that you have a good balance, because something as small as this can sway your mind in a different direction. OK. All right. Because there ain't nothing wrong with, Jake doing his thing with the ladies. OK. Because, the scriptures say that a man can have more than one wife. There's nothing wrong with that. Right. And, brothers is, excited about scriptures like Isaiah 4:1. How all of these women are getting ready to, run us down because of the spirit that we have and the knowledge that we possess from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Okay. But you have to understand, man, that time will come. Okay. There's going to come a time where, all of these women out here are going to notice you. Right. And they're going to want to come under your command. Okay. There's a time for that. But right now, okay, the only thing you should be focused on wholeheartedly is doing the work. Okay. Locking into the ministry. All right. Fuck these women, man. All right. Straight up. Okay. Fuck these women right now, man. If you got one woman, all right, and she pleases to dwell well with you, okay, you might want to just keep it at that. Now, in this video, I speak as a man. This ain't something that, I'm commanding brothers, because I'm, I ain't in no high authority for me to be commanding anybody. You know what I mean? So I speak as a man. I'm just giving brothers some advice. Okay. Don't get too caught up in that playboy spirit. Okay. Trying to be a ladies' man. All right. The only thing you concerned about every day is trying to stack your roster up, trying to get your numbers up. Well, I gotta, I gotta get these bitches. I got one bitch now. Let's see if I can get three. Let's see if I can get three more. You texting a whole bunch of females at once. And then before you know it, man, these women will suck you into they little chaotic lives. Okay. And then you start slacking in the work of the Lord. You see? So when it comes down to these women, man, all right, and the women that you deal with, man, just keep it simple, man. Okay. And make sure you're balanced. All right. Because, yeah, there are some brothers out here that can handle 2, maybe 3 women at a time, man. Maybe. And that's pushing it. There might be some brothers out there, but, this is just a reminder for everybody, man, just to stay focused, man. Even if you do have that situation. OK. To don't forget the focus, man. Don't forget, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right. Because one thing about these women, okay, these women can really be a tool of distraction, man. Okay. Because when you meet a woman and you start to get involved with her, all right, inevitably, you're going to start, basically her problems is going to start to become your problems. You know what I'm saying? And because she's technically under your authority, whatever little schisms she got in her spirit, whatever little demons she got on her, okay, you're going to have to spend time to straighten it out, women require time, all right, and attention, you know what I'm saying? And they, a lot of the times they want you to, sacrifice your own program for theirs so that way you could please them. And that's going to be something that they're going to always try. No matter how many times you tell a woman, no, I can't hang out with you on this day because I got to go to camp. No, I can't hang out with you on this day because I got to meet up with brothers and do a lesson. Right? That's not something that they're going to understand. All right. You could tell them that every week and they still going to try it. They still going to try to, coerce you. You know what I'm saying? To, forsake what you got going on. And, please their little endeavors. Now, that's just one woman. OK, that's just one woman doing that. Imagine if you got 3 or 4, you know what I'm saying? And they all want attention. All 3 or 4 of them, they all want attention. They all want to see you. They all want to hang out. They all, eventually you're going to get wrapped up in their lives, man. You're going to get, you're going to get sidetracked, man. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get sidetracked and you're going to start to, the time that could have been used to, forward your knowledge and upgrade your spirit and your Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, your personal development. Now you're giving it all to these women. Okay. You're giving it all to these women. All right. And, now you're playing catch up in the spirit because now, you didn't try to become this guru playboy. All right. We ain't in this truth right now to be no guru playboys, man. Okay. We ain't, we ain't, that shouldn't be your main focus, man. You shouldn't be getting up every day, going to the college campuses. Oh, I need to get me a new bitch. Walking the streets looking for bitches. Okay. You shouldn't be in that spirit right now, man. Going out of your way to try to get some hoes. And that's what this world has taught us, man. It's a lot of enchantments, man, that we have to break. Okay. As men of the Lord, it's a lot of enchantments that we've been bombarded with. Okay, since we were kids, that we got to break. This world kind of tells you that, hey, a real man, the coolest man in the room is the man that got all the women. If you don't have a lot of bitches, you're not a real man. So then Jake carried that into the truth. You know what I'm saying? Jake carried that into the truth. And then Jake, okay, well, yeah, I got the spirit of the Lord. I could use the spirit and I could get all these bitches. Then I could really fulfill Isaiah 4:1. You know what I'm saying? Jake could use that as a excuse for him to be a ladies' man or a playboy, And then Jake be so goddamn focused on that shit and you forget the mission at hand, man. Okay, you start getting sucked into these women's lives, man. All right. So, I'm just making this video just to remind brothers to be mindful. Okay. Hang on. Salakia, be having to wait for these planes. But yeah, I'm just making this video, man, just to remind brothers just to be mindful. All right. And this is even going for brothers that have more than one woman. Okay. Just be mindful of where you concentrate your energy and your time. Okay. Don't let these women, suck your energy or, sway your focus in another direction. Okay. Because that's what, being a ladies' man and trying to be a playboy, that's what comes with it. It comes with these women begging for your attention all the time. You got to take them out on a whole bunch of dates. Now you spending all sorts of money, time, energy, and resources that you could have, funneled back into the ministry, or, you could have, concentrated that time, money, and resources. You could have concentrated that and put that back into yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that way you could become a better man for Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. So I speak as a man on this video, but, through the spirit, I feel like it's something that has to be said. Okay. So let's go ahead and get a couple scriptures. All right. And we'll shut it out. This is, let's get this real quick. This is 1 Corinthians 7:28. Start at verse 28. It says, and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. And if a virgin marry, she hath not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. Okay. Now, what is that talking about? Basically, it's saying toward the latter end of that verse, which that's the key point. All right. Where it says trouble in the flesh. Okay. Basically, what Paul is saying that, it's okay to establish a relationship with a woman. All right. There's nothing wrong with that in these times, because, we're men and, we have needs and, sometimes we, to be real, we got to satisfy our sexual needs, man, as men. You know what I mean? Or, some brothers just really just like the comfort of a woman, man. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay. The scriptures talk about how, the Lord actually delights in the union between man and woman. Okay. But you have to understand, okay, any relationship that you establish with a woman in Babylon, okay, you're more than likely going to have trouble in the flesh, meaning that, there's going to be some complications. You know what I mean? There's going to be some mishaps. Okay. And the reason for that is, number one, we're in Babylon. Okay. So, we live in a wicked, demonic society. All right. And, your woman, your girlfriend, all right, they could watch a TV show and, a certain demon jumps on them. Okay. And then something switches in their mind. And now you and her are at odds. It's all sorts of different factors because we live in Babylon. All right. That kind of influences the relationship that you have with your woman. Okay. And then number two, it's very hard for the women of this society to respect a man's authority. So you're not going to have full control over your woman like you're supposed to, according to the scriptures. So basically, you're going to be in a relationship with this woman and y'all both going to be fighting for control, then a lot of the times the woman that you get with, she ain't no virgin. So you dealing with, a lot of them past spirits that she got on her from them other niggas. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of factors, man. All right. That's why Paul said, yeah, you're going to have trouble in the flesh. You know, if you have a relationship with a woman, you're going to have trouble in the flesh, guaranteed. All right. And I know this for a fact. All right. I have a lot of experience with women, and I'll tell you, man, this is usually the case at some point during the relationship. You know what I mean? You meet a woman, you guys, what could I say it's the honeymoon phase at first. You know what I'm saying? The honeymoon phase where everything is all peach and lovely and cotton candy. And then eventually something happens. You know what I mean? Either, now she's picking arguments with you. You guys don't agree on something, and that causes a rift between you. Something always happens, man. And, the majority of these relationships in Babylon don't last, But if it do last, okay, it's going to be a little rift between y'all here and there. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think, if Paul is saying that you're going to have trouble in the flesh, okay, and this is just with one woman, think about having 3, 4 women trying to be a real playboy. You know what I'm saying? In the truth, like I was watching this video with Peg Monster Alazar. you know what I'm talking about. Alazar from the Sakari. The Peg man. Okay. I was watching a video with him yesterday, and he's always proud and he's always arrogant. And on the video, he was showing, I guess on his screen, he was bragging about all the women he was dealing with. Like, oh, yeah, you see my girl, she cold. Look at her. Oh, she bad. Oh, yeah, that's my girl. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he was just looking carnal. He looked like that was his only focus, money and women. You see? And you got to, and sometimes when you chasing these women and you trying to be a playboy and a ladies man, another spirit that could hop up on you is that money demon spirit. Okay, now I got to get this money. I got to boss up. You know what I mean? If I want to get these bitches, I got to boss up. You know what I mean? So now you fuck around and you get a money hungry demon on you, man. All right. That's why, hey, just keep it simple, man. Okay. Because more than likely with these women in this time period, man, you're going to have trouble on the flesh. So knowing that, it might not be 100% wise in some brothers' cases to be taking on 3, 4 women at a time, trying to have a full roster of women. Okay. Because you're going to have to deal with their nonsense. All right. You're going to have to deal with their nonsense. And, let's just be honest. A lot of them is just going to be stressing you out, man. Okay. And you're going to be stressed out over stupid shit. Folly. Okay. Female folly. All right. And like I said, you could be devoting all of that energy to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, man. All right. So let's continue. This is verse 29. It says, but this I say, brethren, the time is short. Yeah. Remember that, man. The time is short. Hey, this society, the world as we know it, man, is getting ready to be a thing of the past, man. Okay. This is the time to go hard in the spirit. This ain't the time to, induct yourself into folly or, induct yourself into, trying to do a whole bunch of theatrics and trying to, basically, this ain't the time to keep your focus on being a playboy. Okay. This is the time to where you should focus on pleasing Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Okay. And getting ready to see salvation. All right. Like I said, the time is, Our time is going to come. Isaiah 4:1 is going to come, man. Okay? And in that day, all right, we're going to be able to, regulate the relationship with these women on our terms, man. Okay? We're going to be able to regulate the relationship between us and these women on our terms, man. Okay? We ain't going to have to take them out on no dates. We ain't going to have to text them and play this bullshit ass game. See, all of that is energy, man. All of them dates and all of that shit. Okay? That's energy. That's time. That's money. All right? And if you got a roster full of women that you're doing that with, okay, you're going to be given a whole bunch of extra time, okay, to these goddamn women, all right, when you could just keep it simple, man. Okay? It says, it remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none. You see? That's really supposed to be your mentality, man. You're not supposed to be, out here trying to get a whole bunch of hoes and let me get a whole bunch of bitches, man. No, if those that have wives, man, be as though they have none. Okay? Plain and simple. All right? If you got a girlfriend or you got two, okay, that's cool. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. If you got two women or you got one woman, that's what's up. All right. But, the women that you deal with, all right, they're not the main entree. Okay. They shouldn't be the main focus. Okay. Really, you should deal with these women in a way like a side mission. Okay? These women are like a side mission. All right? There's something to come back home to. There's something to do. There's something to, these women are like, something to do when you ain't got nothing to do. You get what I'm saying? When you got time, right? When you've handled all of your important affairs, okay, now you can give a little time to the woman that you're dealing with. All right. But how are you going to effectively, concentrate the right energy? Okay. If you're trying to be a playboy, if you're trying to be, a Jake that's always trying to get the bitches, man. Okay. You can fuck around and get consumed with that shit, man. And then other demons can start jumping up on you, man. The lust demon. Like I said, that money hungry demon, because now you trying to show out and, now you buying a whole bunch of unnecessary shit, whole bunch of unnecessary clothes. You know what I mean? Trying to look cute for these women. Okay. This ain't the time for that, man. All right. We going to have our time pretty soon, but this ain't the time for that. All right. This is 2nd Esdras 14 and 15. It says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. Okay? That's the mentality we should have, man. Okay? Hasting to get the hell up out of here. Okay? This is why Paul, he didn't deal with no woman. He didn't have no woman. He didn't have no wife. He didn't have no girlfriend. Okay? This is why Paul, he lived the lifestyle of being a single man. All right? Because he was hasting to flee from the times, man. He was only looking forward towards salvation, man. Okay? If Paul was a playboy, if Paul was somebody that was getting a whole bunch of women in that time, all right, he probably wouldn't even had time to write all the books that he wrote. You know what I'm saying? His focus would have been somewhere completely different, man. All right? His focus would have been, concentrated on, pleasing all of them women, because you got to keep up with all of these women, man. You all right? Especially in these times, man. Okay, these women, they think that they deserve the world, okay? And they don't understand a man having, different things to focus on. They don't understand men with purpose, with, a purpose outside of them. These women don't understand that, okay? They've been brought up on the Disney fairy tale, Prince Charming, It's you and her against the whole world, and you shouldn't be focused on nothing else. All right? They don't understand that. So if you got a roster full of them women that think like that, okay, you're going to be, you pretty much going to be playing tug of war in your spirit, because it's going to be this woman trying to get your attention, this woman trying to hang out. Okay, now this woman wants to hang out. Okay, now this woman, she wants you to take her to lunch on Wednesday. And then the next woman, the next day, she wants you to take her to this expensive ass restaurant. You know what I'm saying? And the next thing you know, out of a 7-day week, a 7-day week period, you've only given 2 days to the Lord. You ain't really studied. You ain't really gotten the scriptures. You ain't really been listening to listening to videos, because you've been chasing these goddamn women. You've been trying to please these women, man. All right. Hey. Okay. Hang on, give me a second. Yeah, so that's why it says, haste thee to flee from these times. Okay, that should be your mentality, man. All right. Doing whatever we got to do to get the hell up out of here, man. In the kingdom, man, hey, in the kingdom, that's when we going to be the playboys. Okay. And we going to do it the right way. And all of our women that we going to have in the kingdom, they're going to be virgins. Okay. And they're going, to be honest, they're going to worship us like a god. Okay. They're going to call us Lord. You see? That's when we're going to be able to stunt. That's when we're going to be able to be them playboys, man. All right. And we can have a roster of 200 to 2,000 women. Okay. And switch them in and out all day. But right now, okay, this is the time to do the groundwork. Okay. This is the time to be focused. All right. This ain't the time to be going, like I said, to the college campuses. You at the college campus, you don't even go there. You're not even enrolled in that school. But you at the college campus looking for bitches, walking around the campus looking for bitches. You know what I mean? You going to the mall looking for bitches. You know what I mean? You going places with the sole intention of, okay, I'm trying to get a bitch, man. Walking around trying to catcall women. Okay? This ain't the time for that shit, man. All right? It's the time to be locked in. Let's get this last scripture right here. This is Matthew 6:22. It says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. And this is basically a scripture, reminding us to keep focus, okay? Because it talks about your eye being single, meaning that your spirit should really only be focused on one thing. Okay, and that's Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. All right, keeping your eye single, keeping your focus, laser focus. If you get what I'm saying, okay. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a little harder to be laser focused when you got a whole bunch of women on your line trying to hang out. You got a whole bunch of women on your line, that are trying to suck all your time and your resources, man. Okay? You're not going to be 100% focused like you should be. Okay? And even if you only dealing with one woman, well, you got to apply the scripture that I just read in 1 Corinthians. If you have a wife, be as though you have none. Okay? If you have a wife, if you have a woman, man, be as though you have none. Okay? Don't let, the affairs with your woman interfere with, what you have to do in this ministry or the work you have to do for Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Okay, don't let them convince you that their time is more important. Okay, they can wait. All right. Remember, we trying to save our souls. All right, we trying to save our souls. All right. Don't give your soul. All right, to the folly of women, man. All right. Trying to show out, trying to stunt. We gonna have our time to stunt and show out. All right. We gonna have our time to be those guys, man. all right, with these women. But right now, it's time to do the groundwork. It's time to buckle down and get serious. Okay, so Lord willing, this was edifying, and give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Shalom.